Hello Gemini, and welcome to your monthly tarot advice video for the month of May. Welcome in. We're going to be starting with some oracle. This is the Oracle of Fairies. I've been loving using this in the private readings that I offer, as always. They're linked down below, so I thought I'd bring them into the YouTube videos and see how the energy feels. So let's see what the oracle wants you to know for the month ahead. What do Geminis need to know, please, Spirit? Oh, that one's coming out quite interestingly. Okay, I love this card, but I'm not too fond of the words on the card, but we will read them anyway, and then I will take my preferred interpretation. So the card here is moderation. Is there something you know you shouldn't be eating? Try to eat mindfully and healthfully. Although fairies say a little bit of what you want is what you fancy is fine. Again, I always think that we should be having moderation in everything that we do, especially, again, eating is important, but I just don't like how the message itself is so centered on eating. Again, if that is something that you feel it resonates with you, then please do take that message. But I like to think of maybe when it says eat mindfully and healthily, what is the food that we're using to nourish our mind? What is the food that we're using to nourish our energy and, again, our body? All of these things should be nourishing, should be to uplift us, again, in moderation. So maybe sitting on TikTok for an hour every now and then and scrolling through junk content is what you enjoy, but we have to consume this content mindfully, and it comes with all areas of life. And on the bottom of the oracle, we also had find balance, and I thought that this, again, it fits very well with moderation. And I'll be interested to see if Temperance pops her head out in this reading, because those two words I always use to describe that card, and I feel like, again, it's perfect. So find balance says, find balance between your work, rest and playtime, and you will have more energy, harmony and productivity in your life. Take a power nap. So again, if your brain needs a break, give it a break. You know, if your body needs a break, give it a break. Again, all things in balance and moderation, and that is where we find less harm in these things. Again, you don't have to completely go cold turkey from maybe eating your favorite junk foods or those bad habits, but taking the time to maybe take a step back, find some balance, and find, what's that word? I was gonna say moderation and balance, I guess, are the best words to describe it here, Gemini. So let's see if this message comes through in your tarot here. So we're gonna start with the current energy or the theme of the month. What is this theme of the month for Geminis, please, Spirit? Oh, we're getting 3 cards out. I usually go for 3. We got 4. That's perfectly fine. Thank you, Spirit. We have the World coming out here. I love this card coming out, especially with moderation and find balance, because it feels like you're kind of closing off those chapters where, you know, you were maybe giving too much time and energy to people or projects that don't deserve it. You know, calling back your energy, calling back your power. I think we've just had a full moon in Scorpio by the time you'll be watching this, and it was the perfect time to be finding these energies that need closing off and releasing and calling back our power to us and releasing again what is no longer serving us. I think you're having a lot of success with that here. So you'll see here you also have the 6 of Wands. I love this card. It just feels so bright and cheery and successful. So I think with endings, I don't know about, maybe it's just me, I don't know if you also feel this, Gemini, but I always feel a little bit of fear and a little bit of uncertainty about ending chapters and, you know, finally closing things off and putting them to bed. It can be scary, but I feel like you've found the success in that, and you're kind of like, I'm liking this energy, I'm liking maybe the wins, maybe you're having some more attention on you, being having some recognition for your hard work here. And I feel like it's almost like it feels like sunny on you, it feels bright, it feels like great energy. And for those of you that don't know, the World is actually the last card in the major arcana. Again, it is about the closing off of the Fool's journey, the ending, but because it is tarot, the deck begins again, and you do have the Fool again as the start card of the tarot, the first step, the Fool's journey. So this ending was not a failure, it was not a loss, it was very much a success, very much a win. And I do still feel, I don't want to say like tension, but it feels like with the 4 of Pentacles, there are certain things that are still hard for you to completely let go of, and that's completely understandable. Endings are tough, they're not easy. And I think the 4 of Pentacles may be here more to kind of ask you to judge, not judge, but to be aware of what might need releasing and what might be able to stay for this new beginning. Again, it's about that balance and moderation. You don't have to leave all of this in the past. You don't have to let go of everything. You can still bring certain energies, certain habits forward with you, but it's about choosing what works for you and what doesn't. We're going to look at what challenges you'll be facing for this month. So what are our Geminis going to be facing as challenges? So we have the Page of Pentacles, we have the Ten of Cups, and we have the Wheel of Fortune. See, I always feel like when I'm blabbing cards and I accidentally say the wrong card and it pops up, oh, it feels like I was meant to be talking about that card. I feel like the Wheel of Fortune and the World, I feel them very closely as close energies, because the wheel is always turning and things are always changing, so we're having new beginnings and new ends. And I think the thing is, with the world, we like to think of it as things are ending. This is an end and a beginning, and they're separate, and that doesn't always have to be the case. Sometimes you can have an end and a beginning be intertwined. You can have the Wheel of Fortune, you can have Ouroboros, you can have, you know, it continuing. So I don't know if that is some kind of energy that you're needing to work with and understand, you know, that it can be seen as a wheel and not separate endings and beginnings. They can be entwined, they can be continuous. I also see maybe a struggle here with, it's interesting energy. We will be clarifying everything further as we do, but I'm looking at the Page of Pentacles and it feels like it's hard. I was gonna say, it feels like it's hard being on the bottom of the wheel again. It feels like maybe it's hard being a newbie. It feels like it's hard being the fool. I don't know if this is maybe a career switch that you've had, and maybe you are not as high in the chain of command that you used to be, and you're kind of feeling the repercussions of that, and that might be coming in as a challenge this month. With the Ten of Cups, there's also this challenge around, I want to say, emotional fulfillment. I don't know if you're feeling completely secure in this connection that you've built. Well, like I said, we'll clarify everything a lot further down the line. The Ten of Cups, the Ten of Cups is a beautiful, beautiful card, and seeing it in a challenging position is I want to go deeper on that one later. But to get the clearer picture before I start blabbing, because again, it's a very intricate card. The card itself is all about emotional fulfillment, security in connections, in legacies, emotional security. But yeah, we're going to move on to work and career for now, and we'll be circling back later like we do. So work and career for Gemini, please. We have the Three of Wands and the Five of Pentacles, and we had the Four of Cups. Okay, so I was feeling this energy of this kind of maybe being involved in your career, the Page of Pentacles being involved in your career, and I'm kind of still feeling that energy here. It's not resentment, but it feels like you kind of maybe had your hopes on an opportunity. I feel like you maybe had the better qualifications. I don't know why, I just in my mind I'm thinking like they got a handout. So I don't know if maybe the person that got the opportunity that you were going for, it feels like they got a handout. They had help getting there, you know? I feel like a lot of this hard work, the hard work you did was off your own back. You didn't have a lot of opportunities given to you. It's really interesting now that I'm seeing more of a bigger picture. What I'm feeling for some Geminis out there is that you were really underappreciated in your career, or in a project, or in some kind of your work or your purpose, whatever you define that as. You were really underappreciated. You had a lot riding on it. You had a lot planned for it, a lot of hopes for it, and you was very successful in it. But again, it was underappreciated. You weren't being recognized for the work. You weren't getting the recognition that you deserved. So now maybe you have shifted into a different workspace where they're a lot more friendlier, a lot more welcoming. But again, you have to take the bash of being at a lower rank. And I think right now it's very important for you to be finding that balance between work and rest. And you also have the Ten of Pentacles here. I do feel like a lot of this is because you're trying to build your career and your work into something sustainable, because you want a sustainable family environment, you want a sustainable home environment. It may have been something that you didn't necessarily have in the past, so now you're trying to work really hard to build something secure and stable to build a future or for your current family. And again, it feels like you aren't getting a lot of help in these things, where you maybe need to be reaching out and asking for help. But again, I feel like you're realizing that, again, work, and you can still be underappreciated. You can work really hard and not be noticed and not get that appreciation. Let's look into what your connections are looking like for the month ahead. What are Gemini's connections looking like for Spirit? So is that the Two of Cups? I love to see it. I love to see it. When we have more time for ourselves, we're able to also give more time to the connections that matter. And there she is poking her head out. What did I say, you guys? Temperance is showing her face. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you really are. Part of the balance is not only balance for yourself, but it is for this. I feel like it is a soulmate connection. I love the Two of Cups. It's just love. Whatever this connection is, it can be a platonic soulmate connection. It can be a familial soulmate connection. But it just feels like there's this close bond here that is almost being called into focus. We have the Empress here, so I don't know if there's a maternal instinct going on. It feels almost like motherly love, or maybe a partner that you're building a family with. But it's being called into focus because, again, it feels like maybe it was neglected when we were heavily focused on our work here. So I feel like this month, it really is the month of slowing down and giving time to our family, because there was, again, that's why this Ten of Cups is making sense now, because there was strain on the emotional connection that we share with maybe a partner, with a family member, with whoever it is for you. I'm gonna get one more card, but this energy is it's something else. We have the Queen of Cups. Again, it comes back to this Ten of Cups energy of, I feel like maybe there were hidden truths. So there's a few things I want to say about the Queen of Cups and this, all of this energy. So I'm gonna sit for a minute and just explain this to you. So my bad. So as I had mentioned earlier, we have just had a full moon in Scorpio. And again, this was the perfect time for really going in depth, and hidden truths were brought to the surface. So with the Queen of Cups, I feel like there were maybe some hidden emotions, some things that we maybe weren't saying, that were, I don't want to say they were breaking down this connection, but it feels like they were definitely weakening a connection, and then the strain was felt. But with the shift from Aries season into Taurus season now, we're really being called to slow down. And again, it is all about balance, moderation, temperance. Again, slowing down and finding comfort in things. Again, with this complete objection between the Sun in Taurus and the Moon in Sagittarius, the Moon in Scorpio. I'm so completely sorry about that. With this complete objection between the Sun in Taurus and the Moon in Scorpio, it really also was shifting up. There was tension between comfort and discomfort. I almost feel like there are feelings of guilt around not doing enough in your family life and also in your work life. I feel like you feel guilty for not being able to be in two places at once. When you're working, you're guilty for not being with your loved ones, and when you're with your loved ones, you're guilty for not being by yourself, and when you're being by yourself, you're guilty for not working. You know, when it's almost, again, this vicious cycle of always feeling guilty about being in the wrong place or not giving enough time in the right place. And the thing is, you can't be everywhere at once, and it will never be a perfect scale, okay? There will be times where, okay, maybe you should have been at work, or where you missed an important date. You're never going to be 100% perfect on these things, but it's about trying to find a balance between it all. Like I said, it's never going to be 100% of a balance. There's always going to be a little bit off kilter, and there's always going to be maybe a little bit stretched thin, but it's almost like that's what we do for the people that we love, and if we also love ourselves, we're going to include ourselves in that, you know. So now we're going to have a look at the best way to navigate this month for Gemini. Ooh, okay, exactly what I was saying. We have the Two of Pentacles, we have Judgment, and we have the Devil. So it really is all about trying to find what you call your own balance. And maybe you do have to sit down and kind of say, okay, I need to cut this out completely. This is a bad habit. This is an energetic drain. I need to completely remove this. Maybe that is what your Devil energy is here. And maybe you have to say, okay, I need to be selfish in this area and put myself first. You have to find, again, whatever the balance is for you. I keep coming back to wanting to say it's not selfish to put yourself first. It's very interesting. I want to say that there might be things that are out of your control that are going to be almost responsibilities that you have that are out of your control that I feel like will be changing for you. And again, this will be not by any move of your own. Maybe work takes something off of your plate, or a family member helps out with a task. I feel like something's going to be taken off of your schedule, taken off of your hands, and it's not going to be because you ask. But I also feel like you do need to be open to asking for help. I'm going to go ahead and grab our second deck and start clarifying for you here. I'm going to start by clarifying this World and the successful ending. The Six of Wands and the World, please. Spirit, what is this successful ending for Gemini? Ace of Pentacles, the Page of Cups, and the Emperor. I don't want to say that looks were deceiving here. But I feel like there was this offer that felt very bright and shiny, and then maybe when you got it, it wasn't all that it looked to be. But right now I feel like, again, you're finding that. I feel like, I was going to say you're finding inspiration in being the newbie. I don't know, it feels like you're being comfortable, you're feeling confident about this. It's almost like, okay, I don't have everyone looking at me for being the emperor, being the leadership. You know, I don't have to know everything and have it all figured out. I just have to show up and do my job, it feels like, you know. What's this new beginning? And maybe this Four of Pentacles, please. There is this, have the Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords. You're really overthinking. Again, I want to say you're overthinking rest here. Having more time on your hands, it's almost like I'm not doing enough. I keep coming back to that. You feel like you're not doing enough. With this new beginning, it's a new opportunity to maybe even start new projects, find a new hobby for yourself. I feel like you I'm coming back to take a power nap here. Maybe you do need to start napping. Maybe you need to start using that time, because the Nine of Swords also feels like overthinking, up late, worrying, sleepless nights. So maybe you do need to start napping. We have the Page of Pentacles for a challenge. What is this Page of Pentacles, please, Spirit? How is this a challenge for Gemini? Temperance. The Six of Cups. I just got this energy of like, how did I used to do it all before? You know? Like, I don't know why I'm getting that energy of like, it used to be so much easier before. Like, I don't know, maybe when I was younger it was easier. Before I had kids it was easier. And it's like, well, yeah, you probably had a lot more energy then. You probably have different responsibilities now. I don't know, is your diet different? Is your lifestyle different? Are you living in a different place? All of these things. So again, I want to say, just don't be judging yourself for where you're at currently, and for not, I feel like, again, I want to say, don't compare yourself to your past, and don't compare yourself to other people that are your same age or in your same career line or in your same area, because they don't have all the same responsibilities or the same opportunities or lack thereof as you. You know, everybody's doing their own different path. So why are we comparing to people that are walking next to us but in a different pair of shoes, or in, you know, a different condition? All of these things. This 10 of Cups, please, for Gemini. What was this challenge for 10 of Cups? We have the 10 of Pentacles. What did I say? When the 10 of Pentacles, it was out on the bottom of the deck. We have the Empress on the bottom of the deck there now. And we have the Fool here on the bottom of the deck. The 5 of Pentacles. I don't know why. I feel like maybe you feel like you can't rely on this 2 of Cups, this soulmate connection. Maybe you feel like you can't share all of your emotions with them. Or maybe you feel like they don't carry as much of the slack as you do, or vice versa. Maybe you feel like you're not carrying your weight as well as you should be. And I think that's a challenge this month, because you need to speak up, and maybe you do need to say, like, you know, the way we're doing things right now, it isn't working. How can we change it? How can I do more? How can you do more? How can we work as a team? I think that's an important conversation that needs to be had this month. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and that is the 5 of Pentacles and the King of Cups, which is very interesting because we have the Queen of Cups here as well. So it is about being, I was going to say, emotionally aware enough of your own emotions, of your partner's emotions, to be able to speak up, to be open and honest. Again, if you feel like you're on the bottom of the wheel, you feel like things are dragging, you feel like you need help, you need to be open to ask for it, is a big thing here. We have the 4 of Cups in your work and career, and they have Death. So there is this change, and there is this transformation that's happening, especially in your work and career. Like we were saying, again, it does feel like this was not what you had wanted, this was not what you had planned, and again, it feels like, I'm gonna say that it feels like an opportunity. You feel like this opportunity was swiped from you. Whether or not it was is a different story, but it feels like that, and you feel this hurt for it. And it's almost like, well, I should have got it. I worked harder. I was better. I'm more qualified, whatever it is. But I feel like it doesn't matter. You just need to right now be focused on doing the work to not let it, because it feels like it's already happened. Things have changed and things are starting to go well for you now, or will be this month. So it feels like I don't want this energy to keep dragging on. So it's about maybe finding the silver linings and finding some gratitude and appreciation for when things don't work out. When one door closes, another door opens, is the saying. 555 on the timer here. So appreciating change, whether it feels bad in the moment, but then looking back, that's the thing. Like, when things happen to you in the moment, it's okay to be like, oh, that was terrible, I hated that, it was horrible, it felt horrible, it was not what I wanted. You're okay to have these negative feelings about it, but it's about maybe in the future, when a better opportunity arises, being like, okay, well, now it makes sense why I didn't get that opportunity. I'm still sad that I didn't get that one, but, you know, now I have this opportunity, now I have this going for me, you know. The 3 of Wands, we have the 10 of Cups. I feel like now it does feel like you are wanting to put more time and energy into planning around your emotional world, putting your own emotions first, and then putting your loved ones' emotions first, and then putting, you know, the outside people, because I feel like maybe there's this energy of like, to get opportunities and to keep charging forward, you would put everybody else's emotions first, and again, it wore you down, and burnout was very much a constant thing for you. And I think that's also why we're having balance and moderation come out as well. So for the 5 of Pentacles for Gemini, please clarify, Spirit. We have the Devil and the Page of Pentacles. So the 5 of Cups on the bottom of the deck. If you are struggling with these bad habits, and that can be something as simple as screen time, or maybe again it is an eating thing, maybe it is you're just negatively thinking, opening up is very important. I think I want to say find your own coping method. You know, people will say, oh, start journaling, start doing yoga, start doing meditation, and that's not for everyone. But also doing it how, like, finding your own way to do it. I remember when I was younger and I would be struggling with anxiety, and they would be trying to teach me breathing techniques, and I would hate it, and I wouldn't want to try it, and I wouldn't put the effort in. And then when I got older, I found, you know, about meditation and breath work, and finding it on my own, and finding my own way of doing it, not the way that they tell me to do it, but my own way of doing it. I was able to, again, release myself of this negativity, of these bad habits, but in my own way. So maybe doing journaling is not for you, but the way that you release your emotions is by maybe doing a voice note. Or maybe you talk to the trees. I talk to the moon, and that's how sometimes, if I don't want to journal, I'll talk to the moon and I'll release it that way. You know, it's finding your own coping mechanisms and finding your own way of helping yourself, even if you don't want to ask the people around you for help. Maybe you're asking the internet for help. Maybe you find a forum, an anonymous chat board. Finding, like I said, your own ways to make things work for yourself is very important here. Okay, Spirit, can we clarify this Two of Cups, please? Full. So this could be a new connection coming through, a new soulmate connection. If it's not a new connection for you, then it is a new path, a new journey with this connection. Maybe taking the next step, going a bit further, deepening this here. Again, I feel like it has to do with this Temperance of having more time. Justice, Three of Pentacles. So yes, this is about, maybe you talk more about what's on your schedule. Oh, this is on mine, let's line up and do these things. You know, simple things like that. I feel like you're trying to put more of an effort into finding balance. Maybe they're the one that is always asking to go and do things, so you ask and you plan something for once. Or maybe you are always the one planning, so you ask them, hey, do you think you could plan something for us to do? See what this Queen of Cups is. Strength, having patience. Okay, you're not gonna be open, and we have the Chariot here on the bottom of the deck. You're not gonna be open in and honest and emotionally mature in a day. It's not gonna be fixed, okay? But it is about the baby steps and taking it slow, and kind of learning to flow with your emotions, I think, is a big thing. You don't want to control your emotions, but you don't want to be controlled by your emotions either. It's about, again, balance, moderation. It's a huge energy for you this month. For the Two of Pentacles, can we clarify this, please, Spirit? For Gemini, we have the Magician and the Eight of Pentacles. So I feel like this opening up on your schedule could be because of one project ending, so it opens up space for something new. Maybe you've been manifesting that, you know, someone will come along and, I don't know, maybe start taking up more shifts at work, or maybe offer to help in some way. Or maybe you just realize that if you, again, are cutting out a bad habit, you open up space for something new. Maybe, again, that hour or two that we spend scrolling on our phones, sometimes, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 hours. Wait, who would do that? I would never spend that. It's okay. We get it. No matter how long you're spending scrolling on your phone, maybe it's time we cut that out, and it opens up space for the habits that we've been wanting to build, the stuff that we want to do, you know? Because I know that I will sit there scrolling saying, I could be reading my book right now, and then when it's time for bed, I was like, damn, I wish I'd read some of my book. I could have just put my phone down, you know? Could have got off of YouTube, but we don't. And sometimes you have to use the tools that you have to find the time for yourself. Clarify Judgment for Gemini, please. We have the Seven of Wands and the Four of Wands. So try not to be defensive or I was gonna say judgy. That's not a very good word. When you're building this connection, or strengthening this connection, when you're finding community, talking about your struggles, I feel like you want to be defensive. But again, remember that you're not the perfect person, and the person you're talking to is not a perfect person, and your partner is not a perfect person. You know, nobody is a perfect person. So we don't want to be defensive. I'm also saying like argumentative. You know, everybody has opportunities to do better and try better, but if we are talking down to ourselves or others to try and get the job done, to try and force change or to force things to be better. It's not the way to go about things. Clarify this devil for me. We have the Hermit. Is that the Page of Swords? When you're going through your own journey of trying to break these bad habits, trying to be more open and honest, it can make you want to isolate, go hermit mode, figure it out, isolate. I can do it by myself. I don't need to be around people. But that's not always the best for you. And sometimes you do have to be open and be like, I don't know everything, but I'm gonna try and learn. And I'm probably gonna mess up, and I'm probably gonna get a little bit hurt, but that's okay. You know, and if the people around you are not there to, I think that's why this Seven of Wands is coming out. The real people that want to see you uplifted and supported are not going to laugh when you try, when you put yourself out there. So finding that community for you is really important right now, because the right people are not going to make you feel bad for trying. They're going to uplift you and help you up when you fall down. But that is all I have for your reading this week, Gemini. I hope you did enjoy it. Please do like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. If you want to dive deeper into anything in this video, I do offer personal readings. As always, those are linked down below. And if you've watched this far, I truly appreciate you.